The Korean peninsula is a tinderbox. Right now, the sparks are flying. Tensions between North Korea and South Korea are reaching new heights. Recent actions by the North have set alarm bells ringing across the globe. The destruction of key roads connecting the two Koreas is a stark symbol of the deepening divide. This, coupled with a massive surge in North Korean army enlistments, has the world holding its breath. The situation is perilous. Any misstep, any miscalculation could have catastrophic consequences. The eyes of the world are fixed on this volatile region, hoping for a peaceful resolution to this latest chapter in a decades-long conflict. Imagine a line drawn in the sand, then erased with a violent sweep. That's what North Korea has done, literally, by destroying roads that once connected it to the south. These weren't just pathways. They were lifelines of communication and potential cooperation. They represented a fragile hope for reconciliation, a hope that now lies shattered alongside the rubble. This act is a deliberate message. It's a slap in the face to the South and a giant middle finger to the international community. It screams isolationism, aggression, and defiance. It's North Korea saying, "We don't need you, and we're not afraid to show it." 1.4 million. That's not the population of a small city. It's the purported number of North Korean citizens who have supposedly volunteered to join their army. Let's be real, folks. Volunteered might be pushing it. This smells like good old-fashioned state-sponsored coercion. But regardless of how genuine these enlistments are, the message is clear. North Korea is flexing its military muscle. They're projecting an image of strength and readiness, hoping to intimidate their enemies and bolster support at home. It's a classic page from the dictator's playbook. In North Korea, the truth is a rare commodity, carefully controlled and rationed out by the state. Unsurprisingly, their propaganda machine has gone into overdrive, churning out a narrative that paints South Korea as the villain in this drama. Drone incursions, border violations, insults to the supreme leader, you name it, they're blaming it on the South. This relentless barrage of misinformation aims to stoke the fires of fear and resentment among the North Korean people. It's a cynical ploy to unify the nation under a banner of paranoia and hostility. Section 5. Seoul's measured response, a delicate balance. South Korea, to its credit, is trying to be the adult in the room. While understandably alarmed by their neighbours' antics, they've so far shown remarkable restraint. They're not taking the bait, at least not yet. But let's be clear, a measured response doesn't equal weakness. South Korea has made it abundantly clear that any direct aggression against its citizens will be met with swift and decisive action. It's a delicate balancing act, walking the tightrope between appeasement and provocation, hoping to God that the rope doesn't snap. Section 6. Global concerns. The world calls for calm. The international community, never one to miss a good crisis, is watching this unfold with a mixture of apprehension and exasperation. Diplomatic channels are buzzing with activity as world leaders try to de-escalate the situation before it spirals completely out of control. The message is unanimous. Both sides need to chill the hell out. The risks are too great. The potential consequences too catastrophic to even contemplate. The world is urging dialogue, restraint, and a peaceful resolution. Whether anyone's listening is another matter entirely. Section 7. Teetering on the brink, the risk of escalation. We've established that the situation is tense. But how tense? The Korean peninsula has been a flashpoint for decades, a place where the slightest misstep could lead to catastrophic consequences. Let's just say this. If tensions were a Jenga tower, we'd be down to the last few blocks and some idiot just bumped the table. The stakes are incredibly high and the margin for error is razor thin. One wrong move, one miscalculation, one itchy trigger finger, and the whole thing could come crashing down. The consequences of such a collapse would be felt not just in Korea, but around the world. The heavily militarized border between North and South Korea is like a tinderbox soaked in gasoline. It's a place where every action is scrutinized, every movement is monitored, and every decision carries weight. Any spark, whether intentional or accidental, could ignite a conflagration with unimaginable consequences. The potential for escalation is ever present, and the cost of conflict would be devastating. And when you factor in North Korea's unpredictable and often erratic leadership, the potential for disaster becomes even more terrifying. Kim Jong-un's regime has shown a willingness to take risks that others might avoid, adding another layer of uncertainty to an already volatile situation. Diplomatic efforts continue, but the path to peace is fraught with challenges. The international community watches with bated breath, hoping for a resolution but preparing for the worst. The world holds its breath, aware that the next move could determine the fate of millions. The risk of escalation is real, and the consequences could be dire. We stand on the brink, hoping for peace, but knowing that the shadow of conflict looms large. Section 8. A future uncertain inter-Korean relations in limbo. So, what does the future hold for North and South Korea? This question has been asked countless times, and yet the answer remains elusive. Your guess is as good as mine, folks. The uncertainty is palpable, and it affects not just the leaders but the everyday citizens of both nations. The road ahead is shrouded in fog, and the only certainty is uncertainty. The mist that envelops the future of the Korean peninsula is thick and impenetrable. The recent escalation in tensions has driven a wedge between the two Koreas, making the prospect of peace seem more distant than ever. The demolished roads, the military build-up, the venomous propaganda, these elements paint a grim picture. The infrastructure that once connected the two nations now lies in ruins. These are not the building blocks of a healthy relationship. Instead, they are the remnants of a fractured past and a precarious present. Whether dialogue can be re-established, whether trust can be rebuilt, remains to be seen. The empty diplomatic rooms and tense discussions are a testament to the challenges ahead. The efforts to rebuild trust are ongoing, but progress is slow and fraught with obstacles. The handshake that symbolizes peace is still a distant hope. For now, the Korean peninsula remains trapped in a dangerous stalemate, a region on edge, where any misstep could lead to dire consequences. A powder keg waiting for a spark. The military exercises and high alert status only add to the tension, making the future even more uncertain. Section 9. A history of conflict, a hope for peace. The Korean peninsula carries the weight of history. It is a land where ancient traditions meet modern aspirations, yet it is also a land where the scars of past conflicts are deeply etched into the landscape and the collective memory of its people. A history scarred by war, division and mistrust. The Korean War, which began in 1950, was a brutal conflict that pitted brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor. It left cities in ruins and families torn apart, creating a legacy of pain and division that persists to this day. The Korean War, a conflict that claimed millions of lives, never truly ended, merely paused for a very long ceasefire. The armistice signed in 1953 brought an uneasy peace, but no formal peace treaty was ever concluded. This means that technically the war is still ongoing, a fact that underscores the fragility of the current situation. The current situation is a stark reminder of this unresolved past, a past that continues to cast a long shadow over the present. The Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, stands as a symbol of this division, a heavily fortified strip of land that separates North and South Korea. It is a place where the tension is palpable, where the past and present collide. Yet even amidst the tension and uncertainty, hope flickers. In the hearts of many Koreans, there is a deep-seated desire for peace and reunification. Candlelight vigils and peaceful protests are a testament to this enduring hope, a hope that one day the peninsula will be united once more. The desire for peace, for reunification, burns brightly in the hearts of many Koreans, both north and south. Families that have been separated for decades long to be reunited, to bridge the gap that has kept them apart for so long. The sight of the South Korean and North Korean flags together is a powerful symbol of this yearning for unity. The international community, despite its frustrations, remains committed to finding a peaceful resolution. Diplomatic efforts continue with meetings and negotiations aimed at easing tensions and fostering dialogue. The United Nations and other international bodies play a crucial role in these efforts, striving to bring about a lasting peace. Perhaps one day the road to peace will be rebuilt, stronger and more resilient than ever before. Infrastructure projects and economic cooperation could pave the way for a brighter future, one where the Korean peninsula is no longer divided by conflict, but united in prosperity. Until then, we can only hope and strive for a brighter future, a future free from the threat of conflict and the spectre of war. The sight of children playing and the beauty of the Korean landscapes at sunrise remind us of what is at stake, a peaceful, united Korea where future generations can thrive.